So, how did the first episode fare? I'll let you know. What's going on, guys? We're talking Fear the Walking Dead, episode 1, and this is the first episode. Now, as you know, I give the first episode of any series a pass automatically because that doesn't necessarily, good or bad, it doesn't necessarily mean the whole series is going to be bad. So, first impressions are always a plus, if it's good, but it doesn't mean the whole series is going to be bad. How did this spinoff do? There's no spoilers here, guys. So if you want to see my more in-depth and my more talking of the situations that happened in this episode, check out my spoiler review. No spoilers here. I'm just going to make it sweet, nice, and wrap a little bow for you guys about this episode and my thoughts. Honestly, it was boring. It was very dull. It was very generic. There was nothing new. There was no, nobody had the cojones to really try something new, direction and script wise. I honestly was a little bit disappointed in this. It was very A to B, set up, A to B introduction of the characters. And the only good there's a few good things. There's a few good things in this episode. There's good things to look forward to in the future. The opening was great. I mean, we follow, honestly, I could have brought up this thing, remembered the names and everything, but these characters don't appeal to me, so I don't really give a rat's ass about their names right now. There's a few names that stick out to me just because, they actually were kind of interesting. But we open up with Nick, and Nick is basically the son of Kim Dickinson's character, and of course, Kim Dickinson is the counsel for a high school, along with, she in a relationship with Cliff Curtis' character is Travis, who's a teacher in that same high school, and they both have families from previous, spouses. Cliff Curtis has a son, Kim Dickinson has a daughter, and Nick, the oldest son, who's a junkie. He is shooting up in a church, an old abandoned church. He wakes up, he sees his friend basically gobbling up a human being, and he freaks the fuck out, leaves the church, gets hit by a truck, and that's where our story pretty much takes place. Is him in a hospital and Kim Dickinson, Travis, and her daughter going to see Nick, and it's really the Nick show in this episode because poor guy, you kind of feel for him because he doesn't know if he's like hallucinating it or if it's the real damn thing, but he really does think it's the real thing. Now there's just these characters are so kind of generic and not really appealing. The only one that really captured my interest was Nick because he was a junkie, because he was going through so much turmoil in this episode. And but the other characters were just, whatever. Cliff Curtis, even himself, even though I thought he did a fine job this episode, I really didn't care about this character. And some of the decisions that these characters make, or his character makes, is really stupid. Kim Dickinson as the, mother who loves her son, who wants her son to get better. I get that. But she just feels like she doesn't feel real. She doesn't feel realistic at all to me. I mean, honestly, I was very disappointed in her character as well. The look of the show looks good. Like I said, the opening is really great. I thought some of the imagery that the director used, some of the direction he did was great. But overall, it was good direction. It wasn't like excellent. Like I said, the look is good. The soundtrack was fine. The tense moments the build-up moments were just okay. They were not very. It didn't really bring me to the edge of my seat because the writer should know that I knew it was going to either go two ways. Like the shit was going to hit the fan now, or the shit was going to hit the fan until a long time. And that's where they're going. The shit ain't going to hit the fan until a long time. So this episode, as it introduces characters and we get introduced to other characters that the main characters know, it's just boring, man. The dialogue's not very interesting. It's generic. The style, the direction, it could have been way better. The way they edited this, the way they presented this, the writing just could have been so much more superior than what we got. I mean, it's just a generic A to B episode, just not generic characters, nothing really interesting. I really just felt super bored with this. And like I always say, you don't have to be a freaking action. You don't have to show me the zombies right away. You don't have to give me kills right away. You don't have to go straight into the shit right away. But what you need to do is give me characters that I care about. You need to give me dialogue that I care about. And you need to give me situations that I haven't really seen before. And that's what this episode really fails. I've seen this shit before. Example, Sons of Anarchy. I mean, they do such a great job establishing these characters and situations and stuff that we haven't really seen before. And, getting opening the door or something like an MC. I didn't know anything about MCs or anything like that. So I thought, that's just an example. Even Breaking Bad has some great dialogue between these characters and theirs. But with this episode, I felt like these characters, even though they were focused throughout the whole hour and a half of these characters, the only one really is Nick. Only one is Nick that I'm really interested, because he actually gave me somewhat of a kind of Johnny Depp performance, and he kind of looks like Johnny Depp sometimes, especially when one scene when he's in a truck. But even so, his character was more interesting just because he was a junkie, just because he was kind of at one point he is just kind of running away from his troubles. So he's the most interesting character. You kind of wanted to know. You felt kind of bad for him, so you kind of related to him, even though he was a junkie. But I thought Nick was the most interesting character in this episode, and I thought everybody else was just okay. I thought Travis was fine. Cliff Curtis, I thought, did a good job for what he had was given. I thought the other characters were just, the daughter was really kind of useless in here. She didn't stand out at all. Kim Dickinson's never felt realistic to me at all. So this episode, I gotta just sum it up. It was boring until the last actually 5 minutes as well. 5 minutes actually was not too bad. They do a couple psych outs, which I don't appreciate at all. I was just like, this is bullshit. I mean, come on, man. Of course you're not gonna have the balls to do it. So honestly, Fear the Walking Dead first episode, first impressions, I'm not impressed at all. I'm very I'm looking forward to see if they move forward from this episode and give me actually something that I could actually really care about and kind of keep me awake. But overall, I thought this episode was just not that great. I honestly thought it just wasn't very good, and it was just boring. I was frustrated. I was like, ugh. Why is this character doing that? Well, how the hell did she know that? I mean, does she have a mother intuition? Like, what? Why? That was me. So if you want to learn more about my frustration, check out my spoiler review of Fear the Walking Dead. Until next weekend, guys, until we talk that Fear the Walking Dead. Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you guys for listening. See ya.